What up, guys? TeamVLR George here, back again, and
I hear you got a problem.
with BAs. Yup, episode 3 is Burning Abyss, another prevalent deck again. A lot of the decks I'm going to be doing is obviously meta-oriented, because that's going to be the most difficult matchup, obviously. BAs have been around for a while, the lists have evolved throughout the ages, and yeah, these decks are meant to, I guess, target specific variants. I'll specify which, obviously, when it comes to it. Again, they'll be in a random order. I'll tell you which ones are better than the other and which one's my personal favorite. So yeah, let's get into it. First up, we have Abyss Dweller. I put this in the general text because, again, I feel like almost every deck can go into rank 4s if they really want to. It's a chainable card that just negates effects in the grave for one turn. You can do it twice if you use 2 material. Not bad, especially since you can chain it, and a lot of the Phantom Knight and Burning Abyss monster effects happen in the grave, and that's what makes their plays go off. So yeah, pretty good tech. Next up, we have the D. Fisher and Macrocosmos combo. Cards that hit the grave are banished instead. All the BA monsters get their effects when they hit the grave, so if they're going to the banish instead, nothing's happening. And then the PK variants, the banish is cost for a lot of their effects, so they just go to the banish, so nothing's gonna happen. Very good, especially for the effects that recycle, like Dante, etc. Great against the deck if you can use it. Next up is Soul Drain. Effects that banish or in the grave cannot be activated. So essentially the entire Burning Abyss deck, including the PK Fire variant. Yeah, very good. Has a cost of 1k, not too steep. Only some decks can use it. It's a pretty cheap card as well, so yeah. Next is Necro Valley. This card will always be prevalent in my opinion, especially with these graveyard decks. Cards can be banished, so that's good for the PK Fire, especially from the graveyard only, actually. Not from anywhere. And then cards can now move other cards out of the grave, so Dante, I think the other one is Seer, so yeah, that's good for the BA matchup. Obviously the previous were better, but if you can't afford those either, then get that. This is more of a niche tech I found out a while ago. Skill Prisoner, it's basically like a breakthrough, but only for effects that target one monster on activation, or aka Farfa Beatrice combo. If that's what you're having problems with the most, and that's literally the only issue with the matchup, use this. You can use it in the grave again, actually on either player's turn instead of on your turn, like breakthrough. Pretty decent card, not very well known, and also very cheap again. Another niche card, Puppet Plant. On your turn, you can ditch this card to essentially steal a warrior type monster, or aka Dante. It's great in the mirror, because you can just take their Dante and use it. But the thing with the recent builds is that Beatrice is included, and a lot of the times Dante just won't stick on the field until the end. So yeah, it's lost value, but I mean, it might still work sometimes. Now we're going into types and attributes. So it goes into rivalry. I keep telling you guys in every episode, these are really good against the entire meta right now. All the decks are multi-typed and attributed, especially Burning Abyss. You have the Fiends, you have the Dark Fiends, you have the Lights, you have the Light Warrior, which is Dante. They can't go into their play if you have any of these cards on the field, which is great. Including the type negating Shadow Imprisoning, which is another type-specific card. Shadow Imprisoning basically negates the dark monsters' effects on the field and in the graveyard, so all the Burning Abyss monsters. Doesn't stop the deck as much as it used to, especially since the Burning Abyss monsters aren't the only engine into the deck anymore, especially with PK Fire. It's still decent once in a while though if you could play it. Now we're going to extra deck summoning. We have Artifact Scythe. Artifacts are great, you can tech them in almost any deck. Destroy this and it's special summon, and if it's special summon on your opponent's turn, you can't summon from the extra deck. So stopping his entire deck essentially. They need to go into the extra deck, and this stops that. So great card. And the Bland played on. You can special summon monsters with the same level that you already have on the field, as well as ranks. You can play around this by maybe special summoning one level 3 and then normal summoning the other one. But it stops a lot of their plays, including the Utopic F-Zero that a lot of players hate. It's great for the matchup if you're having problems with something specifically instead of the entire deck. Next is Mischief Of The Nose. Not very well known, I think. Essentially, it's a trap where the levels of all the monsters in either player's hands are reduced by 1. even when they're summoned, they're still reduced by 1. And then it has a graveyard effect, which literally does the same thing again. So you can do it twice. Thing with Mischief of the Nose is not every deck can afford it, because it does lower your monster's levels as well. So yeah, if you can use it, then good. It's pretty cool for Monarchs actually, because you lower their levels, so sometimes you don't have to tribute if you lower it twice. Next up is a very well-known tech, really good still. Flying Sea, not that expensive either. Basically, it's a hand trap that you special summon to your opponent's side of the field in any position, and then they can't Xyz summon. Yeah, specifically. The thing with Flying Sea is it can be played around, which a lot of players have been doing for the time that it's been out. You either Libic it, negate it, or you forfeit it. There's just a lot of ways to get around it. It's not the best card anymore. But it's still useful if you have it, honestly. You can go for the OTK the next turn after you installed your opponent's entire turn. Now, finally, the best card in my opinion, Stygian Dirge. Just reduces the levels of all your opponent's face-up monsters by 1. It's a rank 3 deck. A lot of the times they don't even run rank 2s. So yeah, this is probably going to be a game ender, seeing as how a lot of the BA monsters, or the BA deck in general, can't deal with this unless they have back row hate, which is Twin Twister is obviously a staple in a lot of the decks. But again, that's a card they can't search or like summon off of another card's effect like the BAs do. So yeah, this is really hard to get around, especially when you chain it to the middle of a play, which they've already committed to. Great card. I think it's not too expensive, I'm not sure. But yeah, that's it. Not too much to tech against them, as you can see. But yeah, tell me how these work in the comments down below. If I missed the card again, tell me in the comments down below. And yeah, suggest another deck you might want to see. Although I probably will continue with the whole meta thing. So yeah, TeamVLR George is out.